Could talk about, I mean, the team's first, MPSF championship. Kind of what are your expectations? How will it, differ from the competition in the Big West you've seen?
Well, I think it'll be very similar to the Big West competition because our main competition will be Davis and Santa Barbara. The nice thing is this year has been a bunch of firsts. It's the first time we beat the Davis women, the first time we beat the Santa Barbara women. So I think we're pretty well set up for this meet.
Talk about what it would mean to, if everything falls into place to get that title and, get even more momentum headed to the next level.
Well, it's obviously something that we've, been looking forward to. At the beginning of the season, we were picked third. I think right now we're probably the favorite going into the championships. We have, Lacey, who will speak shortly, is, undefeated this year on the mile, scored at the national championships. Our sophomore class hasn't really achieved what they're capable of. Our junior class has done a great job, and our freshman class has been amazing. When we beat Santa Barbara a week or so ago, we scored 143 points. Only 3 of them were scored by seniors. So we have every opportunity to win the championship. We just need to step up and, maintain the places we have or move up. And if we do, take care of business, in the races. I talked to the girls last week, and I said, my opinion, New England was the best football team in the NFL, and they didn't make it to the Super Bowl. I think we're the best swimming team going to the conference championships, but we got to perform when we get there. So, I think that's, I think the attitude we have going in is, we're going to be the favorite for a change. I don't know that anybody would have said that a couple of years ago, and I think they're ready to go.
Do you prefer kind of the reversal as far as going in as a favorite as opposed to, maybe second or third and trying to tackle the favorite like in years past?
Yeah, I always like being the target. I always like being at the top, and most of my career I've been fairly fortunate. Teams are always trying to shoot to beat us, and now we're finally getting there at Cal Poly to the point where, I think the women's 200 fly is a huge race for us. It's the last event of the meet, and I think we have 6 of the top 8 girls, seated in the event. So it's, we put a lot of points on the board throughout the meet. Our relays haven't been our strength, and I don't know that we'll, win relays. We might have an opportunity to win 1 or 2 of them, but we can win an awful lot of the individual events. But it's our depth that will carry us through. We have 3 girls seated in the top of the 50 free, which, in the past we've had maybe 1 girl in the top 8. So, I would much rather be the guy that everybody's shooting at, having the confidence going into the meet that, you can win this thing.
Tom, it sounds like, listening to you, for better or worse, that you've got to coach this thing mentally more so than you do almost physically going into that thing. Is that a fair assessment?
Yeah, absolutely. Day 1 of the meet will set a precedent and set the tempo of the meet. And so, the first event, the first day, which will be Wednesday, there are only a couple relays. But then we come into the 500 free. We have 3 of the top 4 girls in the 500 free. The next event's the 200 IM, and I think we have 1 or 2 girls seated in the top 8, but we could end up with 3 or 4. The next event's 50 free, and so it's just mentally preparing them right now, because the difference between the 3rd and the 50 free and probably 13th are hundredths of a second. And so when you're starting to look at it's you just got to get up and do it in the morning. The meet will be won in the prelims. You get the right bodies in the finals at night, they're going to score points regardless. So kids have to be ready to step up and swim fast in the morning. If they do, then we want to hold our places or move up. But that's where you lock in the points, or in the preliminary swims in the morning. So,
is everybody healthy for you going in?
We are, finally. Yeah, we've had one of our better freshmen was out with pneumonia for a while. We had a girl with strep last week. So we haven't been swimming all that well, all that healthy for the last few weeks. But right now I think everybody's feeling good and feeling pretty healthy in the water. So.
Coach, just kind of a question in general. We've talked about the schedule. It's a little bit quirkier than other team sports. You guys have had just a couple of meets here in the last 2 months. Why is that? And then, is that enough to prepare the swimmers for a big meet like this, like a championship type of meet?
Yeah, because we've already been through one championship meet when we went to the USA National Championships with one group of the kids. And we also went to the Finnis Cup, which is a prelims and finals meet, and that was back in early December. Gives them an opportunity to see what it's going to be like to race against some of the same teams, but they get to swim prelims and finals. And, and then it was, 3 meets in the last 4 weeks, just, tune-up meets. And, gave us some time to see where we were early season, some time to put in some really heavy training for about, 3 or 4 weeks, and then start coming back down in yardage and, seeing where we were toward the end of the season. And, it's been good to see where we are right now, so.